sharp on the West Coast on Monday, April 20th. So we are going to hop right in to our very powerful straight talk strategy session tonight on how to restart and smash our 2020 goals. So we're going to give it just a second to let a couple of people join in and start chiming in. And then I'm going to give you right out of the gate, I am going to give you your gift for joining tonight. Remember, I promised you that everybody who joins us tonight is going to get a free gift. So I'm going to give it to you right now at the beginning of our conversation. And then for those of you that want to follow along, you'll actually be able to use it as a part of this conversation. If you're not able to download it right now, that's also perfectly okay, because I'm going to walk you through the entire thing, and then you'll be able to download it and use it after we are finished with our session. Sound good? Okay, so we have people joining us from all over the globe tonight. We've got people from California, from Arizona, from Florida, from Texas, from the Midwest, from the Northeastern corridor, from Australia. I know we have had people RSVPing from literally corner to corner of this planet, because we are all ready to rise above the corona drama, right? That is why you are here. So if you're popping on, please take a quick second and say hello. I would love to see who's with us. And I'm going to ask you 4 very important questions that are going to be relevant to our entire discussion tonight. Okay? So here are the 4 questions. Now, I asked these on the announcement. When I was saying that we were going to do this session, I put these 4 questions over there. So I'm going to ask them again now, because I want to make sure that you are in the right headspace and the right heart space for being here as a part of this question, okay? So question number 1, are you ready for the next chapter of 2020? As in, you are so over first quarter. Yes? Yes, that is me. Okay, question number 2. Are you ready to rise above the coronavirus drama? Yes, yes, yes. I have like 10, 20, 30. If I could give 100 yeses to that question, I would. Okay. Question number 3. Are you tired of hearing about nothing but the coronavirus? Yes. And question number 4, are you ready to shake off the funk and move forward with your 2020 goals? If the answer to those 4 questions is yes, then you are in the right place for tonight. Okay? So again, as you come in, as you chime in, take a quick second and say hello. Oh, I see them there. Yes, yes, yes. Hi. Okay, good. So glad to see you. Hi, everybody. All right. Are you ready for the free gift? Ready? Grab your pen and write this down. Okay, I'm going to give you the URL to grab your free gift. It's very easy. It's my website, diggingdeeperforsuccess.com. Okay, then /FB-worksheet-/. Okay, I'm going to give it to you one more time. I'm not going to write it in the thread until the end. And if you can't write it down right now, and if you can't get to it right now, that's okay. I'm going to give it to you in writing at the end. But for those of you who want to follow along, I'm going to give it to you right now. Okay? Again, it's https, ://. Okay? diggingdeeperforsuccess.com /FB, as in Facebook, -worksheet, all the way spelled out, and then /. So diggingdeeperforsuccess.com /FB-worksheet /. Okay, got it? That is where you're going to get your free gift. Hey, Nachamadina over in Florida, she said, what was the first question? The first question was, are you ready for the next chapter? You're tired of sitting in the same stuff. You're ready to move forward. So if you're ready for the next chapter of 2020, this is where we're holding. All right. So let me tell you what we're going to do tonight. Okay, this is going to be a very intense hour. We are really going to dig deep. This is not going to be just another motivational, inspirational session. We'll have plenty of that, but you know what? You can get that in a lot of places. And what I want to make sure that you walk away with tonight are the tactical, practical tools that you can implement to lift yourself out of a rut or out of a funk with just everything that's going on and actually get yourself back on track, or possibly even better than where you were when you were starting the new year. Sound good? Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. The first thing we're gonna actually do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. Okay, the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna revisit our original goals for 2020. The second thing that we're going to do is we're going to discuss how to make any necessary tweaks. And the third thing that we're going to do is we're going to map out a plan how to tackle this second quarter of the year. And then the fourth thing we're going to do is I'm going to share with you a formula for overcoming any and every obstacle that you will ever encounter in your life. Sound good? Not just right now for quarantine, but when you're going to develop this skill and learn this little secret tool, you can use it with anything and everything for the rest of your life. Okie doke? And then the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to finish up with some Q&A. So let's go ahead and jump right in. We're going to revisit our 2020 goals. Now, when we're going to do this, I am going to use my own personal goals as an example, just so that you will have some very concrete samples and examples to follow along with. Of course, you're going to insert your own goals here. And then if you have any questions as we go along, you're certainly welcome to just pop them in the feed, and I will try my best to follow along. Okay, so we're going to first start by dusting off our original 2020 goals. Now, I know all of you, because you're already a member of this tribe and you are a part of this conversation tonight, I have no doubt that you started the year with great goals. Okay, high achieving, goal-oriented women always start with great goals. That's just what we do. It's like our middle name. Okay, now life and self-sabotage may come along and derail us from time to time, but we always start with a great goal. So I personally had 5 goals that I had started, that I'd set for myself at the beginning of the year. Now, I actually went into great detail in these goals and what my plan of attack was in a video that I shared at the beginning of the year about how to tackle our goals. So I shared my goals as an example there. So I'm not going to go into so much detail right now. I'm just going to give them to you very quickly as a point of reference so that I can use them in the examples. Okay, so I have my goals from last year, or for the beginning of this year, excuse me. I have them written down right here. Okay, now the other thing I have in front of me is I have a 4-page worksheet. I'm going to show it to you here. This is the first page. This is the second page. Like, fill in the blank. You're going to ask yourself some really deep questions. Okay, the third page here, can y'all see this? The third page is a table that you're going to fill out with your own information. And then the fourth page on the back, this is how you're going to wrap up your worksheet, okay? This 4-page worksheet, this is your free gift for being a part of this session tonight. I created it in advance and my team uploaded it, and it is ready for you, already for download at the URL, the website that I gave you at the beginning of this session. And like I said, I'll put it in the thread. I'll type it into the feed whenever we're finished. Now, what we're going to do is, when you're going to hang up this call, if you decide that you really want to dig deeper, I know you will. I know you do. That's why you're here. You can either follow along with me right now with the URL that I just gave you, or you can print it afterward and go through it, because I'm going to walk you through it right now, and then you can print it and do it for yourself. Okay, so the first thing you are going to do, this, by the way, is 10 steps. 10 steps to restarting and smashing your 2020 goals. So step number 1 is to list all of your original 2020 goals. Literally write them down in as much detail as you had in the beginning of setting the goals, so that you're staring at them, they're right in front of you. Okay, so for example, let's say maybe I wanted to lose 20 pounds by July 1st. Or maybe I wanted to add $5,000 in savings by the middle of November. Okay, hey Jamie, welcome. So great to see you. Okay, Jamie says the link isn't working. Okay, well, I tried it myself and it was working. So I'm going to read it to you again. Should I just type it right here? Let's see if I can type at the same time. Okay, https:// digging deeper for success.com / FB dash worksheet / Okay, there. Now you can take it from there. You can copy and paste that. Yep, it's exactly right. There you go. It's linked there. Do you see it? Okay, thank you, Jamie. So you can just click on that link and you can grab the worksheet. Now, again, we're at step number 1. You're listing all of your goals for 2020, okay? So my 5 goals that I have written down, that I wrote down again today, are number 1, to fund our school. We have a nonprofit school, and I had to fund it for the year. So my plan was to do a big fundraiser in February, and then several other smaller initiatives throughout the year. So that was my first goal. Okay. My second goal was to write 2 books, and I had 2 goals. I had one to be finished by mid-February. That was a children's book. And the second one was to be finished by mid-April. Okay. Goal number 3 was to bust the limits on my athletic performance. And so my goal was to do 6 real pull-ups by the end of the year. I have never been able to do a pull-up like where you stand with the bar over your head and then you pull it up and like your chin is over the bar, like a real one, not a fake one, not with someone holding my feet, not within one of the bands, but like a real pull-up. So my goal was to be able to do 6 of those by the end of the year. And my plan was, I had a couple other plans to keep my fitness going from that point forward. Okay, then my 4th plan was to learn Hebrew this year because my son's bar mitzvah is coming up next February. So I wanted to, I set this goal actually 5 years ago, y'all. When my son was 7 years old, I set a goal that by his bar mitzvah, I will be able to speak Hebrew like the rest of our family. Because my son just, runs me in circles with it. And why did I want to do it? Not only just to be able to communicate with my husband's family, but so I could be able to make the Bible translations from English to Hebrew, Hebrew to English, from the original language of the Bible. If that's God's love letter to us, I wanted to be able to read it myself as opposed to relying on other people's translations. So that was my reason for doing it. And so when I said that when he was 7 years old, I'm like, oh, it's forever. I've got all the time in the world. And one thing after the next kept coming up. And here we are now. It's a year away. So I've got to get to work. Okay, so that was my goal number 4. And then my last goal, my 5th goal for the year was we are working to launch, it's really just a personal passion of mine that my husband has agreed to help me with. So we're going to do it as a partnership to launch a food company based on all of the clean, wholesome foods that we know are literally nourishing to your body, but they taste so good that our kids eat them, that all the kids in the neighborhood, that everybody that comes to our house says, I cannot believe these are plant-based and healthy. So that was our goal, is to, my 5th goal, not to have it completely like up and running and profitable by the end of the year, but to at least have it launched. Okay, so those were my 5 goals by the end of the year. Now, do you notice how I actually gave you time frames? Did you hear me saying that? So I said, for example, by funding the school, I was going to do the major event in February, then a few other things throughout the year. I had when I was going to write the 2 books, I had one that was to be done by mid-February, one that was to be done by mid-April. When I was launching the food company, I gave specific metrics of I don't need it to be profitable yet. I just need it to be open. Okay, so I had very specific stages, metrics, deliverables, etc., of where I wanted to land the end of the year. Those were all a part of my original goals, and you're going to hear why in a few minutes. Okay, so your first step is to write all of those down again so that they are in your face and you are very, very clear. Okay, we're ready for number 2. Number 2 is this. We're going to revisit each of these goals and honestly assess whether any tweaks need to be made. If so, list the goals again here and why. Okay, now let me explain to you what I mean by that. If the goals need to be adjusted, if they need to be tweaked, then you're going to list the goals again, and you're going to include why, what, and how they need to be adjusted. Okay, now, honestly, y'all, at this point, we're going to have to be willing to be extremely honest with ourselves at this point, okay? Because we're going to look at, are we on track? If not, why? And, the reason that you might be off track may have absolutely nothing to do with coronavirus. You may have started the year off track before coronavirus ever even hit. Or you may have been 100% on track and then this completely knocked you, off your rocker. Now, again, everyone, literally everyone, even within the same family unit, each individual person handles the pandemic and the lockdown and the isolation differently. So this is not, there is zero judgment in this conversation or in this exercise whatsoever. And this is not who's further ahead than who's right, who's wrong. This is so individualized. This is so customized because it's so personal how each one of us would handle through this crazy madness that no one could ever expect. Okay, but what we all have to decide, hey, Tammy, great to see your name over there. What we all have to decide is how long are we willing to stay in that funk? Or are we ready to do whatever it takes to shake out of it? Okay, and again, those were a part of the 4 questions that I asked you at the very beginning. Because if you're not willing to shake it off and move forward, if you're not ready yet, let's be honest. The subconscious mind is a very powerful force. In fact, it is an unstoppable force. It is physically impossible to outperform your beliefs. It is physically impossible to outperform your subconscious. Because what happens is, there's this old saying, I love this, I learned this years and years and years ago in this fabulous book, one of the books that totally changed my trajectory. It's called The Answer. And it talks all through this book about the power of the subconscious mind. And it says that your conscious mind, of course, there's tons of analogies, like the conscious mind is like that little tip of the iceberg, and your unconscious mind is everything else that's below the water. Well, your conscious mind is like the captain of the ship, saying, I want to go this way. And, we are going to point and go this direction. But your subconscious mind is like the engine room. It's those guys down in the engine room that are actually putting the coals on and steering and moving the rudders and getting everything repositioned to direct the ship. So it doesn't matter what the captain says. If the guys down in the engine room have something else in mind, or if they don't get the right message, that ship is not going to arrive at the destination where the captain had in mind. And that is exactly what is happening with our subconscious mind. So it doesn't do us any good to say one thing if we don't actually believe it, if we're not there. And Kat, you're exactly hitting the nail on the head, okay? And sometimes we're on, off, on, off, on, off. And there is nothing wrong with you. Okay, please hear my heart on this. There's nothing wrong with you. There is nothing in the timeline of history for any human right now to look back on and go, oh, well, this is how the world in the modern day era with technology and everything else dealt with the last pandemic and global shutdown. It never happened before. So we are all pioneers right now. We are all new at this game. We're all in this together, and nobody, and I really do mean nobody, knows exactly how this is going to end or how long it's going to take. Okay? The news is showing, as if anybody believes the news, okay, but the news is showing that it's beginning to lift a little bit. There's a better energy in the air. People are feeling a bit more optimistic. People are getting a little bit more excited about coming out and the numbers are plateauing. I don't believe the numbers as far as I could crumple them up and throw them, but that's a different conversation for a different day. Okay. Bottom line is this: nobody actually knows what's happening and how long it's going to take for us to get back to normal. What we do know is that there's going to have to be a new normal for us to adjust to, because even the best reports are showing that it could be 2 to 3 years before everything was exactly back like it was before the lockdown. So whether that means with, the restaurant policies are going to be different, or people are going to be less confident in social outings or going to restaurants. It's going to take a while for the economy to rebound. Nobody exactly knows yet what's going to be happening with the school systems. So there's a lot of stuff that's happening. Okay, so bottom line is we absolutely cannot, will not, must not sit around sucking our thumb, rocking in the fetal position in our closet, waiting for life to get back to normal. We cannot live anymore in deny. And when is this nightmare going to be over? Is everybody in agreement with that? Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Whew. So what that means is that right now it's time for us to reposition ourselves to thrive and create our own personal success regardless of what is happening around us. Okie doke? All right, so in knowing that, thank you, Jamie, Kat, Nahamedina, love it. Okay, now, in the middle of all of that, and Jamie, in the middle of that, what we have to look at is we have to have a little bit of self-talk, a little bit of, okay, are y'all with me that, there's all this stuff about self-love going around. You got to be good to yourself and take it easy and make sure you're carving out time for self-love. But hello, self-love does not mean let yourself be a lazy loser. Self-love sometimes means tough love, to where you develop that inner strength to be able to lift yourself up by your own bootstraps. Yes? That's what we have got to be able to do. Because if we, Ali and Lisa and Hamdina, if we are the leaders of our own family, who else are we waiting to lift us out of this funk? We've got to be able to do this for ourselves. Just like the old saying, who motivates a champion? A champion. So if you are the champion and the leader of your family and your small unit and your tribe, they're all looking to you. So if your head is in the sand, guess who's in a world of hurt? Okay, so we've got to have that level of honesty with ourselves as we are having this conversation, okay? It's not a conversation with anybody else. You don't have to share it with me or with the public or with anybody. This is our own, between me, myself, and I, okay? So we've got to look at we're on the second step here. We're looking at our goals and we're asking ourselves, are we on track with what we set for the beginning of the year? And if not, why? Maybe it has something to do with the pandemic, maybe not. Okay, and again, there's no right or wrong answer to that. And also, I can tell you from my own personal self, I'll give you an example again. With my 5 goals, I am on track with some of them. I am not on track with all of them. The ones that I am not on track with, some of them are because of Corona. Some of them have not, I was off track in spite of Corona, okay? So I literally am going through each one of them and go, okay, so funding the school. Well, I wasn't 100% on track with that before Corona, but I am nowhere close to on track with it now. Like, funding is like a ghost town. It's seriously like I can see the dust, what do you call those things? The tumbleweed, going through. They ain't nobody home in funding town, okay? By the way, all that stuff about the funding and the stimulus packages and all this, we tried everything. Nothing is working, okay? My second goal, write 2 books. So the book that I said I wanted to have done by mid-February, well, I got my part done of the book, but it was a children's book, and I was waiting for the person that I had hired to do the animation to finish their part, and they were a little bit behind when Corona hit, and then it completely derailed them. So because I am dependent on someone else for that goal, I'm just kind of like twiddling my thumbs, waiting for that person to, come back to life. And I can't rush them because what can I do? Again, everyone deals with it differently. So I just have to love them where they are. And I'm moving on and I'm compensating by working on my other goals. And I could replace them, but it's a person that I actually believe in and can do the job. And there's no reason why I have to hold hard and fast to that specific goal. It's just a personal goal that I had. I wanted to be done by my son's birthday. It didn't happen. So that's all right. So because there was nothing very, very specific holding me to that, and because of the circumstances where I'm waiting on someone else and they have a reason why they're behind, I'm just choosing to move that date. Okay. Now, I'll give you another example. Learn Hebrew. Well, guess when I was learning Hebrew? When I was learning Hebrew was, again, I run a school. We started a school a couple years ago. And so as a part of the startup effort where everybody, all hands on deck when you're doing a startup. So I had volunteered to run a daily carpool from my part of the town with the kids in my area to get to the school. So I then had a 2-hour commute, believe it or not, twice in the morning going there and back, and in the evening going there and back. So I'm in the car 2 hours a day when school's operating. Guess what I was doing in that time? I was learning Hebrew. So now that I don't have that amount of time in the car, I'm having to get very, very creative on how to find more time because it just kills me to sit and do nothing. So to sit and listen to audio, I haven't been willing to do it. So I'm going to have to work on finding a different way to learn Hebrew because my commute time in relation to the pandemic is gone. Okay, so I could go through each one of these, how I'm holding with them, and then with my athletic goal, my goal of the pull-ups, let's be honest, I just haven't been terribly motivated to get my bum out in the gym and do this kind of work because I was so regimented and so structured up until the pandemic hit, and then all of a sudden my schedule was a free-for-all and I've lived like I was on vacation for a month. So I've had to work through how am I going to get myself back into that gear so that I can take advantage of this time as opposed to being a victim of the time. Okay, you're right. John Assaraf and Murray Smith. Thank you, Ali. They are the authors of The Answer. Murray Smith was a personal coach of mine about 10 years ago, and it was I learned those principles from him personally, and he helped me apply them personally after he had applied the book. Oh, girl, you think I'm not doing something else with my time while I'm exercising? I got a list. Y'all, I'm not kidding. I've got a list a mile long of audios waiting to get into my earbuds while I am on the treadmill. But it's okay. I'm going to figure it out. And I like the way you think. We're being creative. Okay. Everybody get the memo with number 2. Are you with me on step 2? So you're looking at, are you on track or not? And what needs to be adjusted, or how would we adjust them? Okay, now that's going to lead us right into step number 3. Step number 3, you're going to ask yourself this question: what about you and your ability to achieve your goals has changed in the past few months? So let's give a few very obvious examples. Well, are you working from home now where you weren't before? Are your kids at home now where maybe they weren't before, so you're now homeschooling on top of everything else? How about any loss of income? Have you had any loss of income? Or maybe you've had an increase in income, because there are quite a number of people that have had an increase in income during this time, believe it or not. Are you in a different mental or emotional state during this the situation here? Has your physical health changed at all? Anything else? Okay, so anything that has changed, then go ahead and write that down. Okay? Again, whether it's sorry, I'm looking for my water and I can't figure out where I set it. I think I left it in the other room. Okay, so anything or everything that has changed, you're going to write that down in response to number 3. Okay, good, Allie. So we're all in this together. So many of these things have changed. Yes, for me too. Okay, let's move on. Number 4. Do you need to make any major pivots or changes in your plan to achieve your goals? Or maybe you just need to upgrade your inner state, like as in your inner state, okay, not interstate. Or maybe it's both. Maybe you need to change some things about your actual plan, or maybe we just need to do more inner work, or maybe both. Again, let me give you an example. Let's say I used to work as a restaurant manager and my goal was to put a new porch on my home this year with the extra savings I had earned. So now I need to find or create a new source of income. Okay, that's just one tiny example. Okay, maybe you are homeschooling now on top of trying to work from home. So you've got to try to work through how to even handle homeschooling and how to figure out how your kids can share devices or how to put them in separate ends of the house so they're not crawling on top of each other all the time. Maybe you got to figure out how to juggle your schedule around your kids' schedule. By the way, if you haven't had a chance yet to pick up the copy of my homeschooling ebook, I definitely encourage you to grab it. I promise you it will help. I have been a homeschooler, an online schooler, a tutor while I traveled with my son around the world. I put him in mainstream schools, out of the box schools. We have done it all. And I can tell you from my time of working with him at home, I've done all of these things while working from home. So there are some little tricks of the trade that will make your life so much easier. It's a very, very quick and easy read, and you can get it for free. So it is just there because I love you and I want you to win. I do not want you to have any obstacle or excuse that would keep you from succeeding this year. So that is why I have those there for you. Okay, now, here is something very important that we all need to know, understand, and hear. Everyone, hey Beckstar, our member from down under, my best friend from Oz, here's what we need to know. The whole world is not crashing. Okay, let's just start there. The whole world is not crashing. Not everyone is going broke. Not everybody is having a financial disaster. Not everybody is having an emotional disaster, and not everyone is dying. Okay, let's just start there. Let's start at the baseline. However, while some of those things are happening to other people, what you have to decide is, do you want other people's fear, other people's sadness, or your fear of what could happen to you at some point to actually keep you from succeeding? Or maybe you were hit very, very hard financially. There were a lot of people, lots of people, like millions upon millions upon millions upon millions of people that have been hit hard financially as a result of this pandemic. Now, there are going to be the vast majority of those people, and they are going to say, oh, I cannot believe how bad the pandemic was. I cannot believe how bad it hurt me. I lost my job. I couldn't make ends meet. I didn't know what to do. And they are going to let it destroy them. Then there are going to be a small percentage of people that are going to say, holy schmoly, there is money to be made. There are needs to be met everywhere. Y'all know the story about the shoe salesman, right? There were two shoe salesmen, and they were sent overseas. They were sent to a very, very remote village of Africa. And they were sent only by themselves to test the waters for a couple of months. And the first shoe salesman sent a letter back to his wife, and he said, honey, it is horrible here. I'll be home soon. Nobody even wears shoes. And the second shoe salesman sent a letter to his wife, and he said, honey, pack the kids. I'm bringing everybody. We are going to make a fortune. Nobody here even wears shoes yet. Do you understand the perspective? It's all about perspective, how we are looking at it. We've got someone here on this call tonight, Kat, who has literally pivoted. Kat, how many times have you pivoted your business so far since the pandemic? At least 2 or 3 that I know of. And she is moving from one thing to the next, not because she's flitting, not because she's just skimming the surface and flitting in a desperate way, but she is going to where the needs are. And Allie, you were right. This is absolutely an opportunity if we are willing to be creative and if we are willing to be solutions oriented, which we're going to talk about in a second. So we can either let this become the lid on our success and the last chapter of our book, or it can be the beginning of a whole new book and a whole new story. So there are tons of money that are tons of people that are making great money and that are going to literally redefine the next decade based on how they choose to pivot right now. And I'm not just talking about people that are already rich. I'm talking about people that have nothing right now. And they are going to put their hunger and their focus and their desire and their determination and their creativity to work. And you're going to watch them for the next decades to come. Okay? Now, remember, there is a solution to everything if we are willing to dig deep enough. And that takes us to step number 5. Okay, question number 5. What are some different ways that you could choose to leverage the situation and turn this curveball from the universe into a grand slam home run for your family? Now, this may be a knee answer, like a knee-jerk reaction, or you might need to plant this question into the universe. You might need to actually plant this question into your subconscious mind. Do y'all know that whatever you feed your subconscious right before bed, your mind, your subconscious rehearses that something like 7 times while you're sleeping? You know, this is why we get our best ideas in the morning shower, because our brain has literally been going in search of solutions all night while we're asleep. So if you put these types of positive thoughts into your head before you go to sleep, instead of, God forbid, watching the news or skimming social media right before bed, do you understand not only what a difference in the quality of sleep that you'll have, but also you could be literally giving yourself $1 million opportunities just by those little tiny tweaks that you would be making. Okay, so again, number 5, this might be a quick answer for you. Like you might have something, whoa, like, a light bulb that comes right away, or you might need to think about that one for a little while and maybe have some family brainstorming sessions. Maybe do some masterminding sessions with your spouse or with your kids or with, some good friends or some siblings and think about what you could do together. Okay, number 6, we're rocking and rolling. Okay, now we're about to get to the good part. Are you ready? Number 6. What will it take from you to cross the finish line of 2020 feeling pleased, proud, and satisfied with yourself? Now, for those of you that are just joining us, I am walking you through the 4-page worksheet. This was your free gift as a result of joining us tonight. So if you scroll up, you're going to see the link in the thread. You can click on it, you can download it now, or you can just wait till the end. I'm gonna walk you through everything now and you can download it when we're done, whatever you decide. Okay, but we're at number 6. It's a 10-step process. We're at number 6. What will it take from you to cross the finish line of 2020 feeling pleased, proud, and satisfied with yourself? So here are the questions that you're going to ask yourself. What types of obstacles, challenges, or opportunities could you possibly foresee? Use the problem-solving table that I've given you here. You see it looks like this. Okay, use this problem-solving table to help you brainstorm all the way through the process until you have a tactical plan that you feel extremely confident with. And I gave this to y'all. By the way, I did not include this as a PDF. Y'all might have noticed. I gave it to you as a Word file, specifically so that you can type into the document, so that you can add more rows to the table if you want to. But what we're going to do right now is we're going to go through this table together. And this table is probably the biggest gift that I could give you. Okay, more so than the rest of the document combined. It's just this one part. And I'll tell you why. This is a tool that you can use, I am not joking, to solve every problem or obstacle in your life forever. Now, I know that is a massively bold statement. I understand that. Those are big words. But I can tell you, I've been in this for 15 years. And not only myself, but I have used this to teach hundreds and thousands of people this exact same tool. And I have yet to find anyone that cannot come up with a solution they are pleased with through using this exercise. You want to learn about it? Okay. So here's the way that it works, okay? What you're going to look at is you're going to ask yourself, based on my goals that I've set for myself, I'm tweaking them a little bit. I'm looking at what do I need to move around? What am I, how did I reposition myself, reposition my goals? Maybe I completely, like threw my original goals out the window. Now I'm back with new goals. All of that's fine. All of it's good, okay? But whatever the case is, now I'm going to look at between now and the end of the year. Just let's say, for example, that's our goal, okay? I'm looking at where I want to finish 2020. So what I'm going to first do is I'm going to list, you see the left-hand column, it says obstacles, or in parentheses, it says opportunities. Because of course, we know there's really no such thing as a problem. And there's no such thing as bad news, because everything is designed perfectly for us in the perfect time. Now, we may not understand it. It may not be revealed good news yet, but we can know for sure that is the exact best thing that could ever happen to us. And if we know that, and if we have faith in that, what do we have to worry about? All it means that we have to understand, remember, life is only 10% what happens to us, 90% how we respond, right? So that's where this little sucker comes in. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to look at the rest of the year. Let's say now from, let's call it, okay, let's say, y'all, right now we're April 20th. Let's say it took you 10 whole days to get around to doing this exercise, which it shouldn't, but let's just say that it did. Worst case scenario, okay? So now we're at May 1st by our example. So May, June, do you like that? May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So we got 8 months left in the year. As I'm looking at my goals for the year, what possible obstacles could be standing in my way? What possible things could come along and derail me from achieving my goals? What are some things? Maybe it would be inner challenges, maybe it would be challenges in my environment. So for example, let's say right now I need finances to fund my school. So not being able to find funding, that could be a problem. Or maybe I've got to really wrap my head around homeschooling and figure out what to do with my kids so that they can thrive and I can thrive. So homeschooling, that's an obstacle. Okay, maybe, my old business, I had to get out of my house. So I got to figure out how to take my business online. Well, that's an obstacle. It's an opportunity, right? Okay, so any and every, maybe it's that you do not know how to manage your time to save your life. Maybe it's that you don't know how to manage your money to save your life. Maybe you don't know how to do online marketing. Maybe you don't know how to use technology. Maybe you have a really crummy relationship with your spouse at the moment, and so being under the same roof is very traumatizing. All of these are very real obstacles. Okay, maybe you're someone that deals, you have, manic depression tendencies, and being locked up by yourself is really, really hard for you right now. Very understandable. So whatever the obstacles are, you're going to put them down. Everybody with me on that? You know what to do there. Okay, the next column. The next column says potential solutions. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to take every single obstacle that you have, and you are going to brainstorm every possible solution. Only start with obstacle number 1 first. Okay, you're going to go through them one at a time. You're going to get to obstacle number 1, and you're going to look at every possible solution to that obstacle. There may be 4, there may be 20. One of them may sound ridiculous. One of them may sound too expensive. One of them may sound stupid. One of them may sound embarrassing. It doesn't matter. Any and every possible solution that you can come up with that enters your brain, put it down. Okay, again, it doesn't matter how asinine it sounds. Put it down for now. You're not worried yet about if you're going to choose it or how you would execute it. You're just going to put it on the paper. Okay? Once you have done that for obstacle number 1, then you're going to move on. You're going to do it for obstacle number 2. So let's say you've got 5 potential obstacles. Well, you may have 6 or 7 potential solutions for each obstacle, or maybe you can only think of one right now. Whatever it is, it's no right or wrong. Just put down all the possible solutions. Cool? Okay, once you have done that, then you're going to move on to the price of the solution. This is where you're going to let yourself run wild with all of the costs involved with the solution. So for example, let's say that you're not happy for whatever reason with how your kid's school is handling the online school or the homeschool or the school closures, whatever. So let's say that maybe you want to look for some online school supplements in the meantime. So I would literally do research and I would price out what it would cost me for that. Okay. Or maybe, and like this is one of the examples I gave in my homeschooling ebook. I said you can put together some what do you call them? Groups, some study groups. And you could even do like homeschooling co-ops. So I might get together with 4 other parents. Maybe I would take language arts and somebody's dad would take math, because I'm sure not taking math. Somebody else would take typing class. Somebody else would take science, and we each split it up. So I only have to teach one topic a day, but 5 or 6 kids are learning, and then all of the families, the parents, are helping each other out. Okay, so maybe that is a possible solution, is doing some homeschooling co-ops. So there are tons and tons of different solutions if we're willing to get creative and think outside the box, right? Now, again, if you get stuck on any of these and you can't think of a potential solution, feel free to post it in this thread or shoot me a message on the Digging Deeper group, and I am more than happy to help you brainstorm. And as you can see, we've got some pretty amazing women here that would always, always love to lift each other up and help as well. Okay. So whatever the price of all those individual solutions are, you're going to go through and you're going to write them down. Now, keep in mind, the price of the solution doesn't just necessarily mean a financial price tag. Okay? Your price, your cost also is your time. Remember, time invested in one area is time away from another. So your cost of your time that you're investing is massive. Never underestimate that. And so often we're playing the wrong card when we're measuring our time against our money because we're not properly counting the cost. Now I'm going to show you that in just a second. Okay? Now, once you've got your best guess at all of the price of the solutions, then you're going to go to the final column and it says the price of no solution. In other words, what will it cost me to not find a solution? If I never can find a solution to homeschooling, what will that look like? If I can never find a solution to not getting along with my husband, what will that look like? If I can never find a solution to stopping, eating and keeping the refrigerator door shut, or working through my depression, or finding funding, what will that look like? Okay, so for each obstacle, you're going to go all the way across and you're going to count the cost of no solution. And please hear my heart, friends, then and only then are you comparing apples to apples. Because what you're looking at here is the opportunity cost. You're looking at, what does my life look like if I never solve this problem? What does my life look like if I never find a solution, so therefore I never reach that goal? Am I willing to go through my whole life without ever accomplishing this goal? That's basically what you're asking yourself there. So what would the price be if I can't find funding? Well, I have to shut the school down. Well, what would the price of what would the price be if I can't figure out how to do my pull-ups? Well, I'm going to go through my whole life thinking there's a little in my performance, that I'm just weak, that I just got the weak upper body genes of my family. No, because physical strength leads to mental strength. And I don't know about you, but I do not want to go down in a pile of potential, right? Okay, so you see where I'm going with this? Any questions about the problem-solving table before we move on? Everybody good here? Okay. Whew. Now, you can see I gave you a little note at the bottom of the table, it says once you've worked through all the potential solutions and done a proper cost analysis, then you can circle or highlight your chosen solution to each obstacle. Okay, so then you'll know which one you're going to run with, or at least which one you're going to run with first. Okay, now let's move on to number 7. Once you have done the problem-solving table, then it's time to reverse engineer. Oh, did I lose y'all? Are you there? Yeah, okay, I think you're still here. Let me just check. Are you with me? Can somebody give me a comment if you're still there? Oh, you're there. Okay, perfect. Phew, as long as we know it's still working. Okay, number 7. Here we go. Sorry, I thought I lost y'all, so I wanted to make sure we didn't have technology problems. Okay, now it's time to reverse engineer your plan through year end. Okay, this is where it gets really good. So now it's time to reverse engineer your plan through year end. So here's what we're going to do. First, you got to make sure, now again, for those of you that are following along with me, we're on number 7. And for those of you that haven't downloaded it yet, you can do it when we're done. Either way is fine. Number 7. So we're going to reverse engineer now. Now we know where we're headed, and we're going to start working backward. That's what reverse engineer means, right? We're going to work backward from our goal to put the plan in place. So first, we got to make sure we have very clear details assigned to each goal. So just like you heard me saying at the beginning, the dates, the timeframes, the deliverables, the resources that you would need, the skills that you would need. If you have to upskill yourself or up level in any way, what are those things that you absolutely must have in order to hit these marks? Okay, now you're going to write them out in a place that is prominent, like in your face, okay? And it's even better if you write them out in multiple places so that you see them everywhere you turn. And then you're gonna work backward and do the math to take your best guess at how you need to break down the work toward these goals into the remainder of the year, okay? Hey, Roxanne, welcome, welcome. So we're gonna work backward. Now, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna grab a marker. Hang on one second. I'm gonna grab a marker and I'm gonna show you exactly how we're gonna do this. Okay? Y'all look at my fish for 1 second. And I'm gonna show you what we're gonna do. Okay. Now, y'all know I'm gonna write here on top of my my 365-day tracking binder. Okay, here's how we're gonna do this. I'm going to show you exactly what to do. And I mentioned this, I think, in the worksheet. Yes, I did. Okay, I'm on number 7. Notice I said create a blank page. Remember, I made this where you can type into the page. So you're going to put a page break here, and you're going to give yourself a whole blank page between number 7 and number 8. Okay? And here's what you're going to do. We're going to work backward to put our plan in place. Okay, you know, when I was in my 20s, which was longer ago than I would like to admit, but when I was in my 20s, I read this book, and it was called Business Plan for the Body. And it was talking about how to break down everything, you know, like all these amazing business people, men and women, they have these phenomenal plans for their business, but they don't have any plan for their life and for their health. So that if you turn your health into a business plan, same exact thing. Okay, let's take that concept and apply it to our life. You know, there's a statistic that most people spend more time planning their annual summer vacation than they spend planning their life. So what if we make it our business to plan our life? How do you create your dream life? This is one of my favorite trick questions. You schedule it, right? We put it in the calendar and we make it happen. Yes, Beck, I pride myself in being the queen of tracking. You know that because whatever gets tracked grows. You cannot change what you do not know, and you do not know what you do not track. So let's knock this out. Okay, I've got a blank piece of paper. Down here at the bottom of my page, I'm gonna write it and then I'm gonna show you. I'm going to write December 2020. Okay, this is my finish line. Okay, now we know it's not a real finish line because every finish line is just a new starting line. But for this example, for this one phase of our life, then this is our finish line. Now at the top, I'm going to write my starting line. Now let's just say, for example, that I gave y'all earlier, let's say I want to give myself 10 days to put a killer plan in place so I have no more excuses. Okay. By the way, you can start this tomorrow. There's no need to have to wait 10 days. But if you want to really plan through this and do it well, give yourself permission for however long it's going to take you. But remember, you can start a diet in the middle of a bag of potato chips. You can start your fortune in the middle of filing for bankruptcy. You can start over any minute. And the minute you say, I'm going to start tomorrow, you're buying into an old program. It's old subconscious programming that's telling you, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. The minute you say that, just know you're running from a program. Okay? But take whatever time that you think you need to put your plan in place and then go with that. Okay, now, y'all know the old saying from geometry class, the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, right? So there's my straight line. Now, what am I going to do? I'm going to divide it exactly in half. Okay? So here I go. This is my halfway point. So I've got 8 months left in a year. So what's halfway between May and December? Well, May, June, July, August. Okay? So this point right here would be August. Okay? That's my halfway point. Y'all with me there? Okay, now what am I going to do? I'm going to divide these again into points. So now I've got my quarterly marks. Now, if I were doing this for a whole year, it'd be very easy, right? You would do it by your calendar quarters. But right now we're doing it only for an 8-month time block, and that's okay. The concepts and the principles still apply, okay? So if that's 4 months, then 2 months would be May, June, okay? So you get the idea all the way through. Is that right? May, June, July, August. Yep, okay. So you've got it here. Okay, now, once I know that, August, September, October. Okay, is that right? What am I doing wrong here? I'm looking at it now, I'm second guessing myself. May, June, July, August. Ah, that's the end of August, that's why. Okay. September. End of August, beginning of September. Okay? So then here, this is July. Okay? So you've got May to July, July to the end of August, so to the beginning of September, September to October, and then November and December is your last quarterly section. Okay? Now that I know what these marks look like, okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to literally create a plan, my detailed plan for exactly how, for each of my goals. So let's say, for example, with my 5 goals. Well, I know good and well, just like I knew at the very beginning of the year, I couldn't do all 5 goals equally every day. Otherwise, I would get nowhere. Okay? So, for example, right now, I might look at this and I go, okay, I am going to work on all of my other goals between now and October. So let's say, for example, that I'm going to put only my food company here at the last quarter, and also I'm going to continue working on my pull-ups. Okay? So only my food and pull-ups are going to be in the last quarter, and I'm going to finish one of my books here. I'm going to finish another one of my books here. Okay. Oh, and the Hebrew has to be consistently. So I'm giving myself, for example, I'm not just saying I'm going to learn a little bit of Hebrew every day. Well, how will I know if I ever get there? Well, there's metrics I can look at. If you know X number of words in a vocabulary of a foreign language, then that is supposedly the number of words that you need to be fluent or to be able to have a conversation in that language. So I know what those number of words are. I divide that number down and I look at how many words do I have to learn per quarter in order to make sure I've hit my goal of learning Hebrew. Do you understand how to break it down so that you know exactly what I'm focused on in each of these quarterly chunks so that it's manageable? You know, we eat the elephant one bite at a time. So this is what allows me to do that. And once I then have my 5 goals laid over this paper, okay, so like literally exactly how and when I'm going to tackle each one of these. Doesn't have to be the how yet, it's just the when. I'm going to break down the accomplishments and the milestones of where I want to go. Then that takes me to number 8. Okay, we're in the home stretch. Number 8 says I'm going to write my detailed plan for exactly how to tackle quarter 2. So right now, we're already halfway through quarter 2. So the first calendar quarter of 2020 was January, February, March. So now we're 2 weeks into I said halfway through. We're 2 weeks into the new quarter. The new quarter, the second quarter is April, May, June, right? So if I'm 2 weeks in, so how am I going to handle the remaining 10 weeks of this quarter so I know exactly what to do based on the math and the number crunching that I did here and based on the skills that you think you need to up level? For example, maybe you have a goal of taking your business online, but maybe you need to spend 2 months taking an online course. That's okay. So that's just pivoting, right? You're pivoting to the side, you're taking a side step, you're mastering a new skill, and then you're coming back and you're going to finish strong. Maybe you want to take the online course at night and you're going to build the ship while it sails. That's okay too. Okay? Everybody clear on what to do with number 7 and number 8 with your map for finishing the year? And then number 8 of how to break down your tactical plan based on only the top half, only this section up here. Because that's where you got to focus right now, right? We're going to build success comes in layers. So we got to do a little bit at a time. Any questions about that before we tackle our last 2 points? Okay. Here we go. Step 9. Oh. Now we're to the fun part. You're going to ask yourself exactly how will you feel on December 31st, 2020, when your goals are successfully accomplished. And you can see I have given you a lot of detail to go into here. Okay, I want you to write a description of how you will feel. Will you walk into a room differently? Will you stand or sit differently just because you feel proud? Maybe you've lost weight, or maybe you've learned how to save money, or maybe you created a killer, a new program, something that just you're sitting taller. You're sitting with self-dignity and self-respect and self-confidence because you actually believe in yourself again. Okay, maybe you're gonna present yourself differently, or you're gonna speak more confidently, or you're gonna act in a different way with your family or your friends, not because you're looking down your nose at them, maybe because you took a course on how to love your family or how to get along with your spouse or something, or maybe because you actually feel proud and grateful that you can provide for your family again. And so that it allows you to connect with them in a different way. You're not coming from fear. Okay, so all of these things, you're gonna take them into consideration. And then how will you treat yourself as a reward? How are you going to treat yourself? Like what reward are you going to give yourself for your hard work and your consistent focused effort? How would you like to share your success or your rewards or your lessons learned with other people? I want you to write all of this out in great detail. Like the longer, the better. The more detail, the better. Pages and pages are great. Okay, because the more vividly that you can transport yourself in your mind and you can create the emotion ahead of the event, that is when you are going to start to bring things to you in an energetic fashion. That is when you are unlocking the law of attraction, when you are creating the emotion ahead of the event as opposed to waiting for the event to create the emotion. And remember, the law of Attraction is actually a 3-part step. Most people only think of, they sit around and make their affirmations and their vision statements. That's only one part of it. There's 2 more parts. The second part is the law of action, which means you got to get your bum in gear. And the third part is the law of gestation, which means there are things ordained in the world that it is going to take a certain amount of time. Like it takes a baby elephant 2 years to grow in their mommy's tummy. God or the universe may have it planned that you have to learn this lesson A before B can come. And if you quit, you will never know if you're only 5 minutes from your miracle. So those three parts of the equation must all come into play for the formula of the law of attraction to work in our life. All right. Then last but not least, number 10, you're going to make a list of anything else that you feel you're missing or would help you to accomplish your goals. So maybe you're missing a strong support network. Maybe you're missing accountability. Maybe you're missing some specific skills. Maybe you just need, running buddies or a power partner, or maybe you need to give yourself some small rewards along the way, or maybe you need to give yourself some tough love, or maybe you need a coach or a mentor or someone to help guide you and not let you off the hook, or maybe just like a sounding board to help you work through the situations as they come. So whatever else that you think you would need or anything that you're missing or would help you to accomplish your goals, that's going to be step 10. And then, of course, what are you going to do with those? You are going to implement those. You're going to assign those as a part of your tactics. So as you're looking at everything on this, what you did here in step 7 is going to become a part of your tactical plan in step 8. And step 8, my tactical plan, you should know this. I do it quarterly. Okay? So I'm always looking 1 quarter out. Now I have my goals mapped and the big picture of what I need a year in advance. But tactics, I want you to think of it, this is a great analogy for everybody right now because we're all in the same boat. Think of it like you're a teacher designing a curriculum. Okay? We're all sort of there right now. So if you're having to look at what you want your children to learn for the year, well, what would you do? You would map out their, the landmarks that you want them to hit. And then I'm going to divide this across the year. And then I don't need to learn that until I've learned this. And then only at a quarter at a time do you sit down and look at more detail. And then at a month in advance, the teacher is looking at her lesson plans. Most teachers, they turn in lesson plans a month or a quarter at a time. So your lesson plans for your curriculum, that is the same thing as your tactics for achieving your goals for the year. Okay? And then the rest of it is just good old-fashioned time management and mindset. Okay? Now, that is the 10-step plan for how we are going to smash this year. Now, what I want to do now, I've given you the formula for overcoming every obstacle you're ever going to encounter in your entire life. I've given you 10 steps of exactly how to reposition yourself for success in this year. What I would love to hear from you now, just before we wrap up, is 2 things. Number 1, what questions do you have, if any? And number 2, I would love to hear, how could I support you? What do you need from me? What sort of, tools, resources, programs, anything that I could offer to support you in this time? Any questions at all, or any suggestions or ideas on what you need or how I could support? I'm going to give you a quick second just to type anything into the thread. And while you're typing, I'm going to tell you a couple of other things. Okay? Again, if you're new to the call, if you didn't join us right at the beginning, if you've joined us only a little bit later, I have a 4-page worksheet. This thing that I was working through our entire session, I have created it into an editable file, and I have created it as a free download for everybody that is a part of this call. Natalie and Sydney, hey, how are you, my friend? So good to see you. So if you scroll back up the thread, you're going to see there's a link to this free download. So you can grab your free download for this, and then it will walk you through everything that we just went through for the last hour. Okay? So Beck is saying tracking tools, planning tools. Amazing. Okay, what kind of planning tools? Do you mean like planning out, like to create your business plan, or planning tools for time management? What kind of planning tools are you having in mind there, Beck? I'd love to hear. Okay, now, the other thing that I will tell you just really quickly is if you've been over to my website in the last few days, you will see that it is gone. It is now under construction. We have taken it offline, and I am working on a few things that are a little bit behind the scenes. I'm going to go offline, off grid for a few days and work on a couple of very special projects that I can't wait to share. And I'm hoping that the website will be back up next week. Okay, and once it's up, ta-da! There are going to be a few surprises for you along with it. Okay, so Beck says everything. She wants planning for everything. That's great. Excellent. Business and professional. You know why? Because men may be like waffles, but women are like that plate of spaghetti. We talk about that analogy all the time. I can't even remember where that came from. Maybe it was men are from Mars, women are from Venus. I don't remember. But the point is that men are very regimented and like in the box, this box, that box, and women are all over the place. Kids, family, work, home, finances, health, fitness, it all goes together. And then it's like we pour a big messy, pasta sauce on top of it, and there we are. That's our life. So that's why it all goes together. So I love it, Beck. That's great. Okay, Natalie says, can you please post a picture of one of your pages, as I'm more of a visual learner to see how you track? Are you talking about from my tracking binder? Okay, I'll be happy to do that. By the way, y'all might be interested to know that I have just crossed the 300-day point. I think I'm now today at day 306. So I have just under 60 days left from my 365-day transformation. And I actually started it last February, and then I got off track and I had to recommit last June. So I am just under 2 months away from finishing that up, and I cannot wait to see and track the results and lessons learned. And of course, I will share all of that with you. But yes, Natalie, I'll be very happy to share that with you. And also, don't forget to grab the worksheet because that will help you as well. Okay, so last thing, if you have any other tools that you think would be helpful, if you think of them later tonight or tomorrow, whatever, feel free to please post them here on this thread, or you can post them on the Digging Deeper wall. Either way is fine. And when I am off grid over the next few days and over the next week, working on my special projects, I'm going to be brainstorming and really mind mapping all of these things together. And my plan is to be back toward the end of the week, once I've had a chance to review and assess everything and all of the feedback that you've given me and all of the ideas. And maybe, just maybe, I'm going to have a fun announcement or two to share at the end, at the end of the week. Sound good? Okay. So I hope this has been helpful for you. I'm looking at your comments. It looks like it was. I'm so grateful to hear that. I'm really so grateful that you carved out time of your busy schedule to invest an hour with me tonight. And I have a favor to ask of you. If you could please like this video and share it with anyone that you think could use a boost, any other high-achieving, goal-oriented women that you know could use a boost. We've got, rising waters lift all boats. And we are in this thing together, and we're going to succeed together. But here's something very important that we all have to know. Yes, Kat, you definitely can share it. Thank you for asking. And anyone, I'm going to leave up this free resource for 24 hours. Okay? So anyone who watches this replay in the next 24 hours will still get this video, get the free download. Okay? And here's something that's very important for all of us high achievers to know. As much as we would love to be able to do it, we cannot give someone else our light bulbs. We cannot give someone else our own light bulb moment. We cannot give someone else the aha. We cannot give someone else the motivation and inspiration. Like we say in Texas, you can lead the horse to water, but you can't make him drink. So it is our job to love everyone and wait on no one. Because how can you lead someone that you are waiting on? So the best you can do is offer them the resources, share it with them, give them the tools, and then you keep going. Do not wait on them. Nobody can follow a parked car. So the best thing you can do for yourself and for your family, hey, Stephanie, long time no see. So good to see you. Best thing you can do is get to work right here, right now. Okay. Whew. This has been so much fun. Thank you for joining me. I love you guys, and I cannot wait to track your progress. Please keep me posted on how it's going for you, and we'll be in touch very soon. Bye for now, everybody. Love you guys.